rounds before the NRL playoffs. Having already grabbed top 10 positions, not as much pressure on these two sides as, say, half a dozen other teams over the next couple of days. But Paul Borton, both teams come here tonight very conscious of the fact they need to finish as high up the premiership ladder as they possibly can.
That's right, Peter. Pretty good years for both these clubs in season 98. Tonight is all about entrenching themselves further in that top 10. The Melbourne side especially looking for a top 2 spot, and a win could see them actually finish second if a few results go their way. A loss would be catastrophic. They're trying to hang on to a home semi-final job. If they finish 3rd or 4th, a loss would see them actually run 5th, Peter, and miss out on that home semi-final. The Canberra side, a win could see them attain 6th spot if the Roosters get beaten by Balmain. A loss would see them finish 7th, but they would get a home semi-final.
I mentioned this is a difficult journey for Canberra, mainly because of the fact Melbourne have such a great home record, only lost 2 here this season, and they have been able to put on the same side pretty much every week.
Very solid performances most of the season by all these players, and they line up this way tonight. And unfortunately, Glenn Lazarus has been out for a month. He's out again, and also Robbie Ross out with suspension. Guy's the fullback. Craig Smith comes back on the wing. He's been out for 6 or 7 weeks. He's kicking at about 70%, so that's good news for the Melbourne Storm. Vi's the other winger. Bell and Martin in the centres. Hill's the 5'8". Kamali is the halfback. The lock forward is Tawira Nikau in sensational form. Bowden and Marquette in the second rows, Kearns and Rorty in the front row, Richard Swain, a very smart dummy half, he's the hooker, coached by Chris Anderson.
For Canberra, they feel the same side that defeated St George last weekend. Brett Mullins is the fullback, McNamara and Bainakolo the wingers, Pearson and Wiki the centre pairing, Jason Croker is the 5'8" with Ricky Stewart the halfback. Bradley Clyde locks the scrum. Ferner captains the team in the second row. He also plays his 150th first grade game tonight. He's alongside Ben Kennedy. Brand, Hetherington and Wolford make up the front row, coached by Mal Meninga. It seems if you tip against Melbourne this year, you do so at your own peril. What are your thoughts tonight?
I'm going to tip Melbourne tonight, Peter. The only worry is they had a very hard game in that slosh against Canberra last week. If Chris Anderson has freshened them up, gone light on this week, I think they can get away with Canberra. Canberra, I thought, they won 28-24 last week against St George, but it was only a half a St George side. I thought they should have done a touch better. I'll go for the Storm here, Pete.
I'm going the Raiders. I still think they have enough strike power tonight, and the fact that there is no Lazarus and Ross, and also a heavy knock for Kamali last weekend, might just tip things towards the green machine. So for the first ever premiership match between Canberra and Melbourne, here's Ray Warren.
Thank you, Peter. David Fernard celebrates 150 as the Raiders go out 3 times the premiers of Rugby League. And of course looking very much as though they're going to finish up in 7th position in 1998, the inaugural NRL competition. A win of course tonight can get them across the top of Sydney City, if of course they're beaten by Balmain. Tawira Nikau leading out the Melbourne Storm, only beaten twice here in their first season. Incredible record, magnificent performance. St George and Auckland got them, but nobody else has been able to. And Tawira Nikau leading the side in the absence of Glenn Lazarus. Kamali is okay to play following that knock he took against Canterbury. Much drier conditions for the Storm tonight. Well, Steve Roach is on the sidelines and he's with Laurie Daly.
Yeah, Laurie, how important to win this match tonight to finish in that top 6? Yeah, it certainly gives us an opportunity to finish in the 6 if we win tonight. Obviously, we're hoping for Eastern Suburbs to lose tomorrow night, but the guys have trained pretty well and I'm sure they'll perform well tonight. What about the Melbourne Storm down here on their home ground? They've only been beaten twice this year. That should make the task even tougher.
Yeah, it is, Block. Looking at conditions, they're similar to Canberra, but our guys are confident. You know, we know that we've really got to do the job in the middle tonight, especially in the forwards, and hopefully then that'll give our backs a bit of a platform.
Well, thanks very much. We hope to talk to you at half-time. 13 degrees down here on the sideline. A gusty nor'wester. Melbourne have won the toss and will run with the breeze in the first half, Ray.
Thank you, Stephen. Bill Harrigan is the referee. And Canberra from right to left. Melbourne looking to get a home semi-final with victory here. Tremendous atmosphere. Olympic Park. A big crowd in as Marcus Bai, one of the favourite sons, makes an early run to the 37-metre line. Now Robbie Kearns. His wife delivered a baby for him last Tuesday week. And that was after he almost single-handedly led the charge against Cronulla. So I wonder, is the fire still alight? A charge down from Canberra. And it's just gone over the touchline. So it'll be Melbourne Storm, loose head and feed. The crowd immediately in behind the Storm.
Well, I'm surprised that the Canberra players went across in Ben Kennedy to try and keep this in, because I don't think Ricky Stewart played at the football deliberately. Although the Raiders have got the feed here. Well, I thought Kennedy might have touched it before it went over the sideline.
Pearson playing in the centres. Partnered tonight by Ruben Wiki. Ruben has been in the forwards many times. Now to the centres as we come down to the semi-finals. And of course with the injury to David Boyle. Now young Hetherington. Roy Daly making the point via the Melbourne papers that a lot of teams have tried to beat Melbourne by going around them. He feels the Raiders have got to take them on. Complete their sets of 6. Good kick and chase. Now there's a punch up on him back play. The ball goes down the ground. Canberra recovering. Fight has subsided. Hetherington was one of them.
Well, you can see the strength of that wind as Stewart put that bomb up. It went backwards about 30 metres. Hetherington throwing them lefts and rights.
Kearns.
He was up against Scott Hill. That muscled Hill. Nikia takes it over the halfway line. Rain starting to tumble down here. And handling is going to be very important, and a sellout crowd. Plenty of support here for the Storm.
A very strong wind coming down behind Melbourne. And now raining. A kick in behind McNamara. Mullins though. Beautifully done. Good work, Melbourne. Their kick and chase was very good. McNamara trying to clear it. Ooh, Vainicolo. One of the form players. And Vainicolo is injured. Stewart across. Croker. They're in his face. 21 metres out from the Canberra line. And Croker's not well either. He's clutching at his left ankle. Stewart puts a kick into the teeth of the breeze. Now, this is Geyer.
Well, that was great defence from the Storm. 21 metres the Raiders picked up.
Crowd goes up again as Marcus Bai gets his second touch. Kamali leads the charge. Marquette loses the ball. And Ferner, the Canberra captain, brings it away. Clyde, under the tackle of Kearns. Cleaned up by Scott Hill.
Well, Ray Croker's in all sorts of trouble for the Raiders. He's actually being assisted from the field now, limping off with the trainer. So the early blows have gone against them. Already, Mark McClendon is into the action a lot earlier than we normally see.
Ben Kennedy, and they're good metres for Canberra. Wolford to the right of the ground for Hetherington. Runs the attack at Marquette. Rorty was there with him in the 8. Wolford to the right. Stewart to the air. Straight into the breeze again, coming down. And well done, young Geyer. Matt Geyer, the younger brother. Mark, the big fella from Penrith. A little run around for Bai. Kennedy meets him and puts him away. And I thought Harrigan might have penalised there, Kennedy. Referees have been told to clamp down on that. Putting the jumper over the head of the bloke trying to play the ball. Now he catches up with it. Penalises Canberra inside the 10.
And someone's had a chat.
Advance the mark. And Kamali's not happy with his kick. And it is going to go, I think, over the dead ball line, yes.
It'll be a drop.
Not so bad for Kamali. It was a bad mistake. And they will defend Canberra coming off their 20-metre line. This is Brand.
Well, Bill Harrigan's calling for a drop kick. It's a penalty.
Penalty, put it dead. It's a drop kick.
And when you put it dead from a penalty, it's a drop kick.
Drop kick.
Canberra Raiders thought they were taking a 20 metres tap, but that's not the case.
So a 20-metre drop kick.
I can't remember the last time I saw it.
Don't think I've ever seen it
from
from
the 20-metre line.
And of course, this is going to give Melbourne great field possession. Breeze blowing strongly. Hill comes up with it on the Canberra 40-metre line. Martin in the headgear. Kearns a struggling run. Then an offload. Martin supported. And they're 28 metres away from the line. From Swain. Rorty joins in. Backs into the defence. Gets a pass away. Martin's there again. Now Bowden. Nick out. Ball kept alive by Melbourne. Grant eventually cleaning up to Nickau on the Canberra 20. Game starting at a frantic pace as Kamali turns it in. Swamping tackle on Kearns on the Canberra 10. Away again from Swain to Kamali to Hill. Then it went fractionally behind Bell. It went to ground. The referee will order a knock-on against Melbourne.
Well, out of all the teams in the comp, Melbourne throw the flattest passes I've ever seen. And tonight, with this gale behind their backs, they'll have to be very careful. Some of these balls will no doubt float forward, especially from the dummy half area. Very flat passes.
Pearson folded into 5/8, it would appear. Bradley Clyde announcing that he would play with Canterbury as from next year. So two of the big stars gone from Canberra, and the club will be very keen to do well in the playoffs starting next weekend. Hetherington, you'll see all of those on Channel 9. Stewart plugs a kick, and it goes over that touchline on the far side of the ground.
Very clever kick there from Ricky Stewart. It's going to be a tough first 40 minutes. The breeze, it's a gale against them. And Stewart, he ate up a couple of metres. He kicked before the last. It was pinpoint inaccuracy. He landed just inside the field of play. Despite the fact he's got probably the longest kicking game in the competition, field position is going to be extremely difficult for the Canberra side to enjoy in this first half.
Problem for David Furner. He's just coming into the picture now, jogging up to the scrum. Looking at the back line.
Come on, Brad, get that head in the scrum.
Mullen standing up in the back line. McClendon in 17. 5/8, making the tackle on Paul Bell. And here's a good run by Paul Marquette. Back to the halfway line. Sway delivering for Rorty. Kennedy again comes up, almost personalising his defence. And some of these Melbourne forwards, Rorty over the 30, running free to the 20. Canberra again stretched. They've had no territory at all. They've been inside their own half since the start practically, to where Nickau couldn't handle. And now it is Vainacola, their own markers by, back to the 20-metre line. Wolford waits and delivers for Hetherington. Blood coming from the mouth. Pearson inside for McClendon. Beats one, gets between another, tries to unload. That'll be play on. Wolford away. Stewart with it. Delivers for Furner. Couldn't do it. Wiki on. Now it's with Brand, and Brand will play it near the halfway. Excitement supreme here. Canberra starting to rally. Clyde, quick passing to Wiki. And he's put away inside the 40. Clyde again. Wide for Stewart. On for Brand. The big fella trying to get his arms free. Unable to provide the ball for a flying Mullins. Wolford through the markers. Back for Brand, trailing. And tackled 22 metres away from the Melbourne line. No score. Stewart on the left. Puts the kick in. And the wind blowing it back behind where he kicked it. Then he bats it forward. And it's with Geyer for Melbourne. Pulled down by Wolford.
Oh, great set of six by the Canberra side. Running into this breeze, they made 70 metres and had a chance. An inside ball from McClendon nearly found McNamara. He would have been away.
Martin tackled now inside the 30. Steve, what's the news on Croker?
Yeah, Croker had his left ankle stomped on, so they're just strapping it up now to try and working frantically on him. Just on that, what a matchup that's going to be today. Venicalo up against Marcus Bai. They're marking each other on the wing. That should be a highlight.
That mistake from Melbourne, we see Croker getting some attention, is exactly what Paul Borton was talking about. A flat pass, floating forward. Swain trying to put it onto the chest of his runner, but it was a long way from the mark.
Keeping in mind, we're seeing examples of passes that will not be declared forward if in fact they are blown forward. Now McClendon, pulled down by Geyer. He's had a second go at him, got away with it. Pearson, pulled down by Marquette. They're 25 away from the Melbourne line. They've done well so far, Canberra. DeVico, centre ground, 20-metre line, Melbourne's end. Wolford, now Stewart, dummied to one runner going inside, picked up the second, it was Ferner. Wolford then, looking for the call, it's on the right, it's with Bradley Clyde to the 10-metre line and put down 8 metres away on tackle 5. Wolford again, now for Stewart. Stewart puts a kick back and across, the jump is on, Nicolo had it, lost it, and then it's gone into touch. Isn't he a freak of a kicker, Ricky Stewart?
Yeah, it was great play from both sides. The kick, another deliberate one from Ricky Stewart, running one way, kicking back the other. That takes plenty of skill. It bounces off the chest of Nicolo. He regathers, but Bai was there to drive him over the sideline, desperately tried to keep the pass in play. The teams that come to play tonight, it's been physical, and both sides looking to keep the football alive.
Big hit there on Daniel Frame. Swain to the 30-metre line. Evans has been good for Melbourne every time we've seen him. To the right for Hill. His kick, looking for the sideline and finding it way down in Canberra territory. No score, 12 minutes gone, Melbourne and Canberra. Welcome back to Olympic Park, together with a crowd of probably 14,000, 15 maybe. No score. Melbourne with the feed. That kick was from inside the 40. Now Hill, 12 metres from the Canberra line. Martin to the left for Kearns, out the back. Who wants it? Speculator. Geyer, knocked on by Canberra. It's play on. Canberra got a touch on it. Kamali to the 20. Tackled is Smith. And I don't think Bill Harrigan restarted the tackle count.
No, he hasn't.
Now it's Evans. And the big fellow able to offload. Through Swain for Kearns. Kearns to the 10. And better than that. They're back in the centre of the ground. 9 metres away, as you can see from the Canberra line. Canberra again under pressure. Stewart goes for a famous intercept. We've seen that from him before. And he pulled it off. Now Clyde. Ricky.
Well, Ricky Stewart, he flew up. Got in between. The pass had have got outside him, then they were in all sorts of trouble, Canberra, but he was able to come up with it. And they still keep it alive. Ducking under tackles is Pritis.
Great run by Pritis. Support work by Stewart. Fernie yelling at Stewart to play it as quickly as possible. McClendon back in the centre. Not organised back there. Mullins from a standing start. 45 metres away from the Melbourne line. Wolford to the blind side. Stewart pushing it down behind Marcus Bai. Now, the scorer of 12 tries this year, bringing it back. And Pearson came up and he bounced away from Marcus Bai. Smith. This is Bell. 38 metres off his own line. Still no score. Melbourne aided by this breeze, which has to be mentioned very strongly tonight. It was really an uphill battle for the team in green for the first half.
And their wingers need to be very aware of the 40-20 kick. On this occasion, Kamali, he's outside the 40. And kick is going to go too long, you would think. No, he's going to play it at Mullins. Some work to do.
Mullins has gone towards the touchline, and Martin cleaned him up. Oh, Brett Mullins.
Great chase, Tony Martin. Great kick as well by Kamali. What a game.
Poor old Mullins, I think the shepherd that he was getting, the shepherd from his own player, almost guided him to go down the blind. You see what I mean? Wiki thought he was doing the right thing, but he's channeled Mullins towards the sideline. Vainakalo it was, not Wiki. Now, Melbourne, they've had plenty of possession, plenty of territory, but they haven't got any points yet. Brave. This is an indication of what's to come. As from next weekend, we're in for a splendid series. Evans, 5 metres off the line, 17th minute. And now Nickau, this looks like it, this is it. Arquette's over the line, but referee Harrigan has ruled a forward pass.
Oh, how close can you go? But Harrigan was right on the spot. Called it immediately. Melbourne thought they had their first try. It's from Nickau. Hard to tell.
I wonder whether Marquette knew him. I don't think he did. Even if he'd have called play on, I reckon Vainakalo's come up with a great strip there. Would have saved a try and completely legal to do. All academic with the pass going forward.
Wiki. Clyde. Bruising run. Straight up the middle. Gee, if this wind persists, do you think Stewart's not going to have a field night in the second half? He will love this. Here he is now. Across the face of Ferner. McClendon puts on a little dart. He goes into vacant space. They're after McClendon. McClendon gets his pass away. Pearson's in the clear. Pearson's on his way. Pearson for the line. He's over. Pearson scores for Canberra. McClendon has paved the passage.
And the blood streams from the nose of Brandon Pearson. He won't mind that. That's just a sign of how physical this game has been, but exciting. Both teams really looking to keep the football alive. There's nothing on here, but McClendon, as he's done so often, creates it. Steps inside Nickau, pushes off another defender, goes towards where the support players are. He draws the fullback in Guy. Brandon Pearson had enough speed to outpace Paul Bell, was driven away from the posts. But McClendon, just look at this. How long is this kid going to be around for, and how good can he be? Pushes off Marquette, and then he realises he's got to go across to where the best position players are going to be to find, and he also makes sure the number one is well and truly committed to the tackle. There he is.
Well, they might be losing Ricky Stewart. They found a very good player in McClendon, haven't they? Robbie Kearns wasn't taken out there. He was merely trying to get past the Canberra player in Simon Wolford and couldn't get around him, and he fell down. And Brandon Pearson gets it, and you would have to say that is against the run of play. It's been all Melbourne. Of course, they've had the majority of possession down in Canberra's danger area, but couldn't get across the line.
Certainly against the serve. Canberra taking a pummeling at the other end of the ground. Have got the first points. 17 out. 13 in from touch. Almost an impossible task. Hits it. He's got enough length on it. And the touch judges have given him a goal. So David Ferner converts. It is 6-0 Canberra over Melbourne. Back at Olympic Park in Melbourne. And a tremendous atmosphere. Trust you're enjoying it, particularly you people in the ACT. Right down through the Riverina, you Canberra fans. A boisterous night in Melbourne. And Canberra leading 6-0 after being under siege. Ferner put away on the 30-metre line. 16 for Canberra is Payton. Henry serves me correctly, he's a product from Erindale College. And of course, you'll see 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Check your guides, the schoolboy match. Oh, gee, that guy having trouble down there. I Just for a moment thought Harrigan might have called a knock on.
I think he did knock on, Ray. I think that the ball was propelled towards the other try line. Maybe, no, I'll take that back.
Smith, good to see him back for Melbourne. He gives them a guarantee of points off the boot. Evans, just to complete that, the schoolboys match tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Parramatta Marist High and Kerwin State High. And here's Nickau. I thought for a moment it had been taken off him. They fire it back. He's inside the 40 Hill, and his kick is too big. So there's no need to be that adventurous. It worked for him once and hasn't worked this time.
Well, he
22nd minute.
He seemed to rush that one, didn't he? He was making sure he was inside the 40, and whilst doing that, he didn't take any time about the kick. Frantic pace.
Yeah, it's a full crowd here, and it's a hive of activity around this part of Melbourne tonight. We've got an Australian rules game at Melbourne Cricket Ground. Bob Dylan plays a concert just across the park. And when in this area in Melbourne tonight, you're missing out on some great entertainment all round.
Mullins. McClendon. DeVico. Now, out the back and hoping. Stewart put a kick on it. Payton goes to ground with it. There often seems to be passages of lack of communication in Canberra. It's not the well-oiled machine we've seen down through the years when they won those 3 premierships. But then again, 1 or 2 were champion sides, weren't they? Clyde is 15 away. 6-0 Canberra, try for Pearson, laid on by McClendon. Stewart inside for Ferner finally. 10-metre line, 5 tackles gone. Wolford was looking around. Now it's with Stewart. Puts a little grubber kick in. Marcus Bai swooping away with it.
He's mixing his kicking game up very nicely, isn't he, Ricky Stewart? Putting one on the ground there. Always difficult in wet conditions. But tonight, for fullbacks and wingers, it's going to be a pretty tough 80 minutes. Marcus Bai handled that beautifully. Picked up a difficult ball. Consummate ease. Danny
Williams has been on for a little while now for Melbourne. He adds his own brand of talent. He's quite a different player than Swain, but they're both very effective. Here he is, Williams now. Kamali. And that was outside the 40, that kick, but it's down for Mullins. And Mullins again flirts with the sideline. He goes down the corridor on the left of the ground before turning it back on the inside. McClendon. It was an appeal from Melbourne for a knock-on. McNamara. Let's have a quick look at this and see whether Melbourne... Yeah, they were right on. Near the halfway line then for Canberra. Critters. Hetherington very slow to get up. DeVico. The pace of the game is starting to take its toll, and here's a forward pass ruled against Canberra.
Yeah, out of dummy half. And also, Brett Hetherington pulled up very dusty from that play the ball. Not only a loss of possession, but another injury concern. Hetherington doesn't look 100%, although he does pack into the front row of this scrum.
Rain starting to again come down quite strongly as Melbourne launch another attack. And here is Smith. Mullins clutching at his shoulder as he attempted a tackle. Nickau storming onto it. And away from Williams. It was knocked down, I thought, by Scott Hill. Bill Harrigan agrees, and he'll put a scrum down. Just outside the 20-metre line.
They're making plenty of inroads in Melbourne Storm forwards. Players like Bowden, Rorty, Nickau's having a fine game. This ball was double pumped by Danny Williams, and then the knock on.
I thought, Paul, there was an earlier pass to Nickau that was forward in that passage of play, but tonight you've got to be absolutely sure of what you're saying, because this breeze might be adding to the vision that we're getting. As long as it was passed backwards in relation to the passer, it's an okay pass. Now Clyde out to the 40, and DeVico comes off for a rest. Mel Meninga switching his forwards around as much as he can without losing momentum. Here's Priddis. He is absolutely blessed with two very good dummy halves. You've heard us say that before, but it bears repeat. Priddis and Wolford. And here's Stewart trying to put Pearson down the ground. Talking of Priddis, he's in a bit of trouble in back play. Ben Kennedy, Stewart everywhere, and punching it down. In behind Smith and the in-goal area. Smith gets it back. Geyer carries it on, and Graham makes the tackle. Down on the Melbourne 10-metre line. Marcus Bly. Sunday we go to Canberra for St George and Parramatta. You'll see that game at 4 o'clock in Sydney. Check your local guides as Marquette succumbs to the tackle of Wiki. And Melbourne go right for Evans. Evans always able to get the arms free. He's a very good man to follow. Now Rorty hits the ball at great pace.
Last tackle, Luke Priddis has got a problem.
Inside the 40, the kick Pete up. But this time they're going straight down the ground. Priddis, as Peter said, is still in some pain and coming off. So that will see Wolford go back into the game. This is where he took the blow. And Williams and Nickow it was in the tackle. Anthony Brand. 6-0 Canberra against the run of play. They scored a magnificent try. The little fellow, the little Max McClendon, put it together for Pearson to complete it. Now for Stewart. Back on the inside for Clyde. 43 metres away from the Melbourne line. The match just starting most recently to settle down a little bit. Geyer pursued by Wolford, and Wolford almost lost him. Wiki eventually secured the tackle. Martin. Melbourne on their own 30-metre line will contend with this boisterous breeze coming down the ground in the second half. You would hate to go to the sheds at half-time, trailing by 6, knowing what's to come. Kamali over the halfway, off the shoulder of Hill, picked up by Furner, and Canberra goes back onto the attack. 0 tackle. Pearson, a short ball, and away from Hetherington for Brand. The two young forwards, the front rowers, are working well. Wolford takes it to the 30-metre line. Plenty of tackles in their kit bag. Mullins a dummy half. Stewart on the right. Clyde out wide. Inside for McClendon. And McClendon takes the tackle of Nickow, submitting to it. Not a bad policy when you're built like he is. Wiki. 28 metres away from the Melbourne line. Still some tackles. Stewart weaving his magic. Kennedy running onto a pass from Furner. And I think they've got, that's it now, they've got to 5. Wolford. Stewart, a drop goal attempt by Stewart. Hits the uprights, comes back into the field of play, but it's a penalty.
Yeah, when Hill jumped for the ball, he was tackled in the air. Strong hitter on Scott Hill. Not a bad option there from Ricky Stewart, 10 minutes out from half-time. He hit it sweetly, hit it strong.
It wasn't just tackled Scott Hill, he was crunched by Brad Clyde. Bang, right in the back.
Hence the penalty, and the kick from Melbourne is found touch only 30 metres out from the Canberra line, 40 metres.
Now they come down the ground in a wave, the Melbourne team. Trailing by 6, half-time approaching, and a penalty to them.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see whether the Storm decide to take the 2 points. No, straight away they've gone to the sideline to kick it over. Kamali organising his troops. 18 metres out, 6 tackles up their sleeve. There goes Bowden. He's the second rower.
Rorty. Quick comment from the sideline, Stephen.
Yeah, this has been an outstanding effort from the Canberra Raiders forwards. They've had their problems in the first half. Hetherington, Brown and Kennedy have all been on their heels, but they've gutsed it out.
Kern is 7 metres away from the Canberra line. Play in the centre of the ground. Nickow tries to get rid of Wolford. Clyde comes over the top. And Tawira plays it 10 metres out from the line. Rorty met by 3 Canberra defenders. Still they're 7 metres away. Can they get over the line before half-time? A long ball. Geyer has got it. Geyer put down on tackle 5. 3 metres from the line. Now it's Hill. Puts a little kick in behind. Mullins is going to get back into the field of play. And they'll give a penalty, Melbourne, if they're not careful. They have. Well, that was a tremendous effort by Mullins.
Fantastic rugby league. He's one of the classiest players in the game today, and he's shown it once again here. He's dragged back. You can't do that. Illegal, hence the penalty. Very exciting game of rugby league, this one.
The frustration showing from Melbourne there in defence, particularly their captain, Nick Howe. Just haven't been able to get across the Canberra line, but they've had a mile of chances, thus the frustration.
Yeah, Paul was exactly right when he said they're making plenty of inroads, but the problem for Melbourne is that too many passes have gone astray. They've got to be adventurous, but maybe that last pass has just got to be held and the quick play the ball taken instead.
Yeah, they're playing with a touch of impatience, Pete. That's the problem they've got.
Canberra away from the 30-metre line. McClendon again, running off Burner. He's out like a stag in a rock. The pass is forward. Harrigan was in line with it. He's played the advantage. And Geyer goes back for Melbourne with a long run down to the halfway.
And a great tackle by Ricky Stewart in cover.
Nick out. Kamali on the left, angling across. And Bowden comes in, unloads for Hill. Hill to the 40-metre line. Hill makes a break. And pulled down desperately by you-know-who, Bradley Clyde, on the Canberra 30-metre line. Now it's Kamali, over to Nickau. Nickau back away for Kamali. Kamali back 25 metres away from the Canberra line. 33rd minute. Now Swain, putting it up there on the chest of Rorty. He's banged down by Canberra. Graham, Wolford, now to the left. And Nickau's operating a blind side, a wide one. And here's Bell for Martin, they're over. Melbourne's over, thanks to Martin. There was a beautiful pass by Bell.
And it comes after a Canberra mistake, and we were talking about impatience, and maybe McClendon showed a little bit, and possibly some inexperience by trying to throw this pass. Been better off just to try and take Geyer on himself. The man inside him, Wolford, was never going to go the distance. He had plenty of cover around him. Stewart does come up with a beauty here on Geyer because he was going into open spaces. But then so much momentum for the Melbourne Storm, and this time they got it right. They maintained possession. Kamali out to Bell. Lovely little pass on the outside, just too many. It looked as though at one stage Martin was going to come inside. He stayed on the outside and a hole appeared.
I know it's the way they defend, but once again, those Canberra outside backs, they hung off and showed them some space. And as they were backing back, then they just kept going forward, the Melbourne players, and got the try.
Yeah, that's really the first time, Paul, that Canberra haven't been able to be in a position to rush up and force a mistake from their opponent. Ricky Stewart has been superb in defence tonight. He's got up. He's made the Melbourne players make a decision a lot quicker than they would like to, and it's led to a lot of mistakes. That time, they had Canberra backing away. Lovely little pass thrown on the outside.
Interesting to note that Brett Kamali is the kicker ahead of Craig Smith, who is normally the first choice kicker, but it's his first night back from injury, and he'll probably ease his way into the game, and Kamali has the chance to draw them level.
He's 8 metres in, 20 metres out. Kroger trying to get some feeling back in his ankle. There's a good chance he'll be back. Now the kick from Kamali is low and well offline. So, Melbourne trailing by 2 now as we come to the 35th minute.
Stay behind it.
2 points to margin. Canberra converted try. And it's out on the full. It's a penalty to Melbourne back at the middle of the ground. And that brings a roar of approval from the Melburnians.
Yeah, David Turner bring it over, and this is a very, very important 3 or 4 minutes for Canberra. They've worked so hard, got away to a 6-0 lead, have maintained that. They're 2 in front now. To go in behind would be demoralising because the effort not going to get the reward if they allowed Melbourne in late.
So immediately Canberra on the back foot again. Bowden for Swain. And Swain will play it 5 metres away from the Canberra line. 6-4 Canberra. And the break only a few minutes away. Hill showing it. He's going through to put it over the line. And Hill has put it down. There's another try for Melbourne. They love it. 15,000 of them here.
Well, this young 5'8", he is just so deceptive. I don't know how many times I've seen Scott Hill slide through opposition defences when they appear to have plenty of blokes. And that's certainly the case here. The big Ben, he gets rid of Ricky Stewart, he just slides through. There are 4 players there, and he's still able to get the ball down either on or just over the line. But as we saw McClendon create something out of nothing for Canberra earlier, so too is Melbourne's pivot here. He sliced through 4 players and got an extremely important try on the stroke of half-time.
He's a dead-set specialist from 10 or 15 metres out. He's done that 8 or 9 times this year. A real good player, Scott Hill. It's all in his eyes. You see his eyes then?
Kamali converts. So Melbourne, after trailing 6-0 for the major part of the half, lead 10-16.
Well, how good is this kid? He takes it upon himself to score the try here. This is a sign of maturity. He breaks 3 or 4 tackles, stretches out. Let's not forget that Melbourne could have taken the shot for goal. They knew that they could score the try.
Let's all go back to David Burnell's mistake. Captain, he'll be kicking himself when they go into the sheds because he'll realise they gave Melbourne that opportunity with a misplaced kick over the sideline.
Kearns on the kick return. So really the 2 tries for Canberra. One came from a touch of exuberance from young McClendon as Bye makes a half break. And then of course the other coming from the captain, putting it over the touchline on the full from the restart. Evans with a struggling run. A minute to go to the break. Kamali and Marquette in. Hill there, supported by Geyer. Geyer down, puts a kick in. There's a chance on for Bell. Bell and McClendon. And McClendon's come down with it. But it was touch and go.
Oh, how close. Excitement plus here at Olympic Park. And Melbourne Storm. Fantastic rugby league. Canberra hanging on. They've had to do the bulk of the defence. Once again, Scott Hill, well supported by Geyer. Was he too impatient? Well, it's exciting football anyway. Bell nearly got there. McClendon almost stole that out of Bell's hands then to save a try.
I think that's exactly what he did, Paul. It bounces up. I think that he had it in the grasp and McClendon just kept persevering to grab it out.
What has gone unnoticed here is a little knock on from McClendon. I think you'll find when he's made the steal, which he has, there's no doubt about that. When he was going to ground, he knocked on. But Canberra have weathered this first half, I suppose, very well when you consider they're 4 behind, and they're going to have the use of this tremendous breeze in the second half. Hetherington. Croker is back on for Canberra. That's good news for them. Smith. Over halfway. Geyer. Bye. Look out, Canberra. Melbourne aren't finished yet. The bounce of the ball. Oh, touch and go for Wiki. And the hooter in the background. So, a tremendous first half. Mal Meninga will be happy to get them back to the sheds. Make plans for the second half. He's got the best kicker in the game in the team. And in a funny way, he'd be happy to be so close to Melbourne on the scoreboard. It is half-time at Olympic Park. They call it the sporting capital of the world. But in this area tonight, there are thousands of them. The MCG, the tennis centre, and here at Olympic Park, traffic chaotic as they file from the ground after a tremendous 40 minutes. We go to a break. Melbourne by 4. Back to Melbourne. The city alight tonight as the sporting public have patronised very heavily this match at Olympic Park. Of course, Essendon and the Western Bulldogs, a big crowd at the MCG. Bob Dylan is over at the tennis centre, and Canberra are trailing by 4 here.
And there we see the stats for the first 40 minutes. More possession for the Storm, but they made more mistakes. 22 uses. He come up with 8 handling errors, a few late for the Canberra Raiders, and that allowed the Melbourne side to get some momentum and to change the scoreline around. A few more missed tackles for the home team. The line breaks, they're in favour of the Canberra Raiders, and out of those 4, you've probably got to say McClendon has come up with 3.
And these Melbourne forwards, Rorty with 16 tackles, 9 hit-ups, a great effort by him, and Robbie Kearns, some quality stuff with those 10 hit-ups. He's offloaded at will as well. Got plenty of second phase playback. The Canberra side, well, they're in it up their armpits. They're playing quite good football. Anthony Brand, 16 tackles, 9 hit-ups as well. He's been heavily involved along with Bradley Clyde. And there's not much in this game at all. Bob Dylan's across the road. The crowd have gone berserk. We've got
He'll have Laurie Daly with him. Flag. The breeze has dropped a little bit. Melbourne from right to left. 10-6 the score, 2 tries to 1. And it is Hetherington, the first of them, to bring it back to the 20-metre line. They didn't see a lot of Melbourne's area in the first 40. And now it's Melbourne's turn. Run into this gale that's blowing. Tatum. Hetherington across the 40. Stewart will kick a lot from inside the 40. I thought it might have been about to happen there, but Curtis said this is the better way to go. 5 tackles, now Stewart. And up goes the first bomb from Stewart. Underneath it is Geyer, and equal to the task. Tremendous take by Matt Geyer.
I haven't seen a lot of Matt Geyer play, but geez, been impressive tonight. Been very safe, got good speed. Marcus Bike taken by Furner. The good news for Melbourne is that they've been very good when they've led at half-time this season. 14 times they've been in front at the break. 12 times they've gone on to win the game and also drawn on one other occasion. So just the one loss when they've had the lead, which they do at the moment.
Kearns. Nicker. Bell. Kamali keeping it underneath the wind. Mullins outside his own 20, put down by Bell, working down the left of the ground. McNamara picked up by Smith. DeVico. Stewart. Clyde. Off for Furner. 7 metres from the halfway. Critis. Making long runs from dummy half very early in the half. And the last tackle, Stewart with miles of time. Smith. Left knee, heavily strapped. Out to his own 20. Just have to be patient, Canberra. Wait for the chance. Geyer. Good run by the fullback again. Almost getting it to the halfway. Martin. Kamali. Now it is Marquette. Just onto the Canberra side of halfway. Kearns. tremendous leadership amongst the forwards. Marquette going back, running at Furner and Prentice Swain. Kamali cutting that hill. Nick out. Pass looked dubious to Bell. 5 gone, 20-metre line. Nick out. Behind Hill. Kamali's boot. Tackle was late, but it didn't infringe. Vainicolo put down on his own 20. Let's go to the sideline. Stevens down there. He's got Laurie with him.
Yeah, well, the Melbourne Storm will do first. Ray, just quickly, Chris Anderson said, don't rush our plays. We've been in good field position on a number of occasions. We created plenty of opportunities, but we didn't score with them. He said the most important thing in the second half is the chase from Markle on Ricky Stewart. Show some enthusiasm like the Raiders did in the first half, and we've got to guts it out like we'll have to in the semi-finals. I've got Laurie down here on the sideline. A frantic pace in the first half, Laurie, but you guys come away with it all right.
Yeah, it certainly was, Blocker. We were very happy to go into half-time 10-6. Very strong wind down here, and with Ricky's kicking game, we're hopeful of getting a victory in the second half.
Yeah, a couple of wounded soldiers. How's that predicament at the moment?
Yeah, we've got a number of troops down, and certainly struggling a little bit in that area. I think we've only got one replacement, so it's going to be a big effort, but I'm sure the boys can do it.
All right, mate, thanks very much for joining us, and thanks for your time earlier.
Steve Roach on the sidelines tonight with guest comments from Laurie Daly as Melbourne get a penalty. And again, we saw a tremendous kick return from Gaia. And Hetherington, you can see him, here's the penalty given by DeVico, but Hetherington is clutching at the sternum. He is a virtual passenger at the moment for Canberra, but Laurie has just pointed out that they've got a problem with replacements anyway. Kearns inside the 20-metre line. Rorty. Hetherington is gutsing it out. Swain, Kamali. They're in the line. Nick out. Inside. Marquette. Pulled down by Furner desperately. And the line just in front of them. Now Bowden. Oh, Kamali's knocked on obligingly for Canberra.
He's not offside. He never touched it. He stood his ground. He was a pain in the butt, but he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, trying some second phase plays there. Didn't come off. A great tackle by Furner. That was a try saver. And Marquette. Rorty taking Bowden taking the ball to the line and offloading, but nothing coming of that.
Mullins, tackle 1. Wolford takes the second out to the 30-metre line.
Yeah, making a lot of ground out of dummy half as we see Jason Croker on the sideline. I wouldn't be surprised if Canberra continue to use that ploy, foxing that Ricky Stewart is going to kick. I think they'll get him into position, look like he'll kick, and that way the emphasis from the markers will be on Stewart and maybe not the dummy half.
DeVico. Certainly that's been the case with Prentice and Wolford making runs on that tackle that they thought Stewart might kick on. Prentice sees the opportunity to run a couple of times. Furner quickly across. Oh, Payton's pass has gone to ground. Melbourne have got it in good position. So the 0 tackle from Melbourne. And the first will be made on Gaia. He's lost it. Hetherington. 42 metres away. 0 tackle. DeVico on 1. Slam down. Canberra edging closer to that try line that they have got to get across at least once. A chance to finish in the top 6 for Canberra if Balmain does them a favour. Melbourne looking for a home semi-final. Vainicolo put away by Byron Martin. Martin got one of the Melbourne tries in the first half. Stewart, long passing. 2 passes across the ground. And it's Furner. Put down on the 20-metre line. Melbourne's in. And they're 18 metres in from touch on the far side. Inside ball from Payton, picking up Pearson. Pearson got a pass in. The player, Prentice, knocked on apparently. Bill Harrigan's going to put a scrum down. Prentice is looking at him. He's eyeballing him. As if to say, you got it wrong, you know. Let's have a look at it. Pearson's pass is okay. Yeah, Bill Harrigan thought he saw a small one, and he did. interesting weekend for referees with the two-referee idea to be trialled in one of the minor games over the weekend. Oh, big tackle by Wolfen on Smith. He put him down gently. I don't think he got him past the horizontal. Kamali running by. Hasn't had a lot of free space. What he's had to make for himself. On the 40-metre line, Harrigan gives a penalty. I didn't get a chance earlier to mention that Melbourne, the club, had a minute's silence here tonight prior to the kick-off in memory of the two members of the Victorian Police that were senselessly
Brett Hetherington's one of the main ones.
last weekend.
Roll them off quick. I'm calling it. Just let them listen to me and do it, okay? Yep, watch this business.
Those penalties now 6-1 in favour of the home side. So Canberra's discipline tonight, not up to scratch according to referee Harrigan.
Kearns wrestled down by Clyde. And Swain. Clyde has done well to get back on side. Rorty. Hetherington pluckily carries on in the game. DeVico involved. Now Nikau. Dummies to Marquette. Belted up the middle and pulled down. Another desperate tackle. And it was from Prentice. Kamali. Across the hill. On for Martin. Martin away for Bill. And pulled down by Pearson. 5 tackles gone. 3 metres away. Hill. Little kick. And fielded by the fullback Mullins. And then a tremendous run by Mullins. 21 metres away from his own line.
Wasn't this a great tackle? Tackles you're expected to make, but you've still got to execute them perfectly, and it was a wonderful tackle by Pearson, one-on-one.
Steve Roach, an update on Kennedy and Croker.
Yeah, the Raiders in all sorts. Croker has succumbed to an ankle injury and Kennedy a neck problem. They are both out of the game, so the Raiders in all sorts.
DeVico. Stewart inside his 40. And the kick bouncing favourably for Smith on his 30. He's made a 20-metre run back to the halfway. Hill. Guy.
Well, I made a statement a little while back concerning Canberra against Parramatta, which came back to haunt me. I'm a little bit hesitant to do the same, but unless they can pick their act up, Melbourne will get away with this one. They're just showing a lot more enterprise. Here's Martin there.
Martin looking for Bye down a very narrow sideline. But he's into touch. We will take a break and be back to Olympic Park in a moment. Half-time scoreboard remains unchanged. 4 points, Melbourne in front. 2 tries to 1. Here's Pearson being driven back by Nikau and Hill. On the 20-metre line. They come down the blind side as DeVico. 28 metres away from his own line. They got their 2 tries, Melbourne, late in the first half. Canberra had a 6-0 lead for about half an hour. DeVico, an offload for Ricky. Ricky was put down by Hill's tackle. Ferner on the 40-metre line. A short ball for DeVico. DeVico's making some good yards up the middle. Ricky has had the ball taken from him by Bowden. And referee Harrigan, a little bit slow to react, but then he scampered across onto the Canberra 10-metre line. Kamali. Bell. Canberra thinking about it. Clyde picked him up and then had to gentle him down. Rorty, short ball, Marquette. Michael tapping tackle from Hetherington. Kamali again, generating the backs out wide. Martin, now tackle 5. 12 metres from the line. Kamali. Kamali puts the kick in. McNamara marks it on the full. Back to the 20-metre line for the restart.
Playing some very attractive football in the Melbourne Storm. There's been some chances for Marcus Bai, but he's continued to run straight down the sideline. A couple of times I'm sure his centre would have loved him to have gone back on the inside where there was some space. It's been a fine game, Tony Martin.
Prentice. Clyde. Put away on this his own 40-metre line. Hetherington running into the shoulder of Rorty, and still offloading, then Vainikolo. Halfway line, Canberra, trouble playing the ball. Payton, away for Wiki. 35 metres out from the line now. A couple of tackles remaining. This is Prittis. Really made some valuable metres in the second half. Last tackle, Vainikolo. Stewart to the air. And allowed to bounce by both sides. Oh, Marcus Bai lost his footing. Miraculously was able to clean it up. Guy. He just lost his footing, and it was lucky for him that the ball basically fell back on his hands. Wade. Melbourne are coming off their own line very well.
They're getting some good play the balls, Ray, and that's why Canberra have been penalised so much, because they're desperately trying to slow them down. Here's Kearns just throwing a couple of defenders away. Last tackle now, Kamali gets a kick in under pressure. Sits up, Vainikolo will play at it.
Now the chase, and Kamali, the kicker, cuts the legs from under him.
Those sort of chases really lift aside. Look at the rest of the Melbourne Storm players come up now. A wonderful piece of football. Great piece of rugby league from Brett Kamali.
Well, they know the reward here tonight is a rich one. They can play their semi-final in front of this crowd. Looking at their record this year, they've only been beaten here twice. They're going to be a thorn in somebody's side before this season is out. On the last, Prittis able to get a kick in, and it's gone down for Geyer again, having a busy night in the second half. Marcus Bai, there's some space, he jolts and goes back on the inside, takes it to ground.
And Prittis was forced to kick there on the last tackle because Ricky Stewart was still down on his back. He's only just got up and back into the line now. He spent a lot of time on the ground after being tackled when involved in the last movement.
Luke, don't push his hand on his head. You've got to go blood bin, mate.
Yeah, this is for Prittis. Blood from the mouth. And the blood bin for the Canberra number 15.
Stewart stayed down. He got hit, a touch late, but there wasn't too much in it. And he stayed down for quite a while.
Okay, up we go. Yep, full line. Come on. Don't go yet, don't go yet.
56 minutes.
All the way up, come on, all the way up, Luke.
Almost expired. And Melbourne cling to their half-time lead. Evans, in fact, I've got to say in the second half, I think they've looked the better side. 45 metres away from the Canberra line. Nickau tries to drive the attack down a narrow blind.
There's absolutely no doubt, Ray, Melbourne have looked the better side in the second half, and if it continues in this vein, they'll win the match. They're playing with a lot of enthusiasm. Canberra with those injury problems. This is the last tackle now to Hill. Everybody going forward for the home team.
Every time Vainikolo gets a touch, he looks up and there's the blue Storm jumpers right up in his face. Not offering them very much at all. The only player that really has breached it, the dummy halves have found some ground, but McClendon has had more success than anybody in actually making a break. Payton bouncing it away, offering it for Stewart, who gives it to Clyde, turns it back, it went forward. A chance for Melbourne. Just inside the 40-metre line. Kamali, Hill, scored the second try. Martin to dummy half. Early in the tackle count. Evan. Around the chest, says Harrigan. Tackler was Woolford. Now Kamali to the 10. Kamali! Kamali! He's over the line. A brilliant try. Absolutely dazzling stuff.
Well, I'm running out of superlatives for this number 7. He's looked forward to this confrontation with Ricky Stewart for a long, long time. They got the opportunity from a rare mistake from Brad Clyde. Pass back inside away with one. We've seen Scott Hill score an individual one. This one's even better. The big step. Wrong foot. The referee, Brett Mullins, he appeals that the referee got the rage. He was already beaten. Just have a look at the footwork and the explosive speed. Holds the ball out in two hands. Straight through the tackle of Brand. A big step back inside. That beats the fullback. He was already gone, Brett Mullins. And Wolford, he had no chance.
It's almost like Kamali's said to Scott Hill, anything you can do, I can do better, champion. Just watch this one.
Brilliant stuff. Stepping off both feet, leaving players grasping at mid-air. Brett Kamali gets Melbourne's third try. Converts his own try, making it so much more difficult for Canberra. 10 points behind at the 58th minute of the Olympic. Ferner with the restart. And if the hill looked pretty steep, it's even steeper now. 10 points behind. 3 tries to 1 down. Kearns, a stampeding run. Clinton back on. 17 is Williams. Evans. Sees some tremendous depth on the bench. Players like Evans and Williams. Frame. He's no slouch either. Williams now. Kamali. Starting a blindside raid, but he puts the kick in. And Mullins. Can he do something to turn the tide? Handling running into the breeze, much better than Canberra. Brad.
They're just too much going out, aren't they, Canberra? Here we go again. Payton taking the ball forward, although that's a pretty good run, picking up 15 metres. And they're making themselves easy marks for the Melbourne Storm defence. Here's Ricky Stewart trying to get a 40-20. Ryer can't stop it. They will get the scrum feed.
Well, that's really only the second time in the half that Ricky has gone for it. He's kicked plenty of times, but never, or should I say only once before, from inside the 40. And he's picked it beautifully. Loose head and feed Canberra. An hour gone. MCG in the background there.
We're coming in too quick. Get set first.
Thousands of people trying to get into both venues. There's a real cram as Pearson offloads for Mullins in. Martin did well. He had to make the tackle though. Vainikolo trying to fend away from Martin. 22 metres out now from the Melbourne line. Can Canberra get a try? Hetherington, Wolford, Stewart, Wolford, then Clyde. Clyde, a bustling run, ending 8 metres from the line in front of the upright. Wolford. And this is Hetherington. Hetherington, he'll make it, yes! Hetherington is in for Canberra. That's what they needed, the Raiders.
Yeah, they're back in the game, the Raiders. Brett Hetherington forcing his way through. He's had some injury problems in this game, so it's a brave effort. And Chris Anderson will be disappointed here. It's a fairly soft try. Gets through the tackle of Daniel Frame and set himself. He's a big man, got a long reach. And one missed tackle from this close to the line was always going to lead to a 4-pointer. The second effort.
Yeah, there's those one-on-one tackles that you've really got to make. On that occasion, Daniel Frame just wasn't up to it, didn't really commit himself to the tackle. And go in hard, fell off him, and you can put it down to the 40-20 kick. And Ricky Stewart.
He had no room to aim at, did he, Stewart? It was very precise. And so many missed tackles come about with the head being lifted. That was a perfect example. Frame went in, but his head was up. Poor technique. Hetherington was able to force his way through.
12 metres in from touch. 20 metres away. David Ferner. And he's got it. So Canberra back to a 4-point deficit. The 62nd minute. He's been gallant, this kid, Steve.
Yeah, have a look at him holding the ball out in two hands in front of him. And you've got to take a big man ball and all. You can't go around his legs. Just stretches out at a very tall man and scores the try. There's Jason Croker. They're desperate, the Canberra Raiders, to get him back out there. They're going to strap the ankle and see if he can run. And Ray, you wouldn't believe it, this wind has dropped right down in the second half. Another thing going against the Raiders.
Yes, Lady Luck hasn't been too kind to them with the elements, although watching that restart, it went up and came down. Not as strong as it was in the first half. Steve would certainly know that. He was getting blown along the sideline himself. McClendon smashed by William.
I must admit, Ray, I'm a little bit surprised that they are trying to get Jason Croker back into the game. I'm not saying they should concede this one, but he's going to be very, very important for them when the playoffs begin next weekend, and any further damage, he might miss a more important game than this one.
Stewart tried it again. This time Geyer retaliates. Smith. Shoulder of Hetherington got him. Tackle has hurt Smith. Here's Clyde on Williams with an assist there from Wiki. Evans. So much of this Melbourne performance in 1998 generates from raw enthusiasm. Players given a chance to improve their career, and they're doing it with gritted teeth and tremendous commitment. Ferner played it. Brand takes it up. They're starting to go a little bit one-outish though, Canberra. Melbourne are pushing each other out of the road. In contrast, McClendon just inside the 40-metre line. Here's Wolford from the knees. Prittis, and Prittis is tackled on the 30. Now Stewart will go to the air. Here he is, and the high ball aimed at Geyer, back in the in goal, and he did well. That'll come out to the 20.
He has had a super game, that guy. He's really, I think he made one mistake earlier, but apart from that, he's been just sensational. He's taken the ball as well, the high bombs, and he's made quite a few breaks. Croker's out there under something, really. He's limping.
Loudon. Canberra are hoping for a victory, obviously, and then they're hoping for Balmain to do it for them tomorrow night. Then they send off Big Ciro at Leichhardt. Now Hill, short passing, Danny Williams. Tackled on the Canberra 30-metre line. But you see what I mean? When they start an attacking raid, there are players everywhere. Kamali with a little kick back and across. Vainicolo. He's got to get it back. He did that. And Mullins looking for help from McNamara. Brings it out himself to the 20-metre line. I can assure you that when Mullins gets the football, everybody goes up in the commentary box.
Well, he loves to attack from that area as well. We've seen him score quite a few tries from that area. He's got Kamali for a second tackle there, but I don't know. He released Mullins, and I thought Mullins was about to take off and have another run. Maybe Kamali was entitled to tackle him again, but Harrigan saw it differently. It's only Canberra's second penalty of the night.
Well, if Mullins had it continued on, I don't think Bill Harrigan would have called him back.
Oh, Duvico, is it? Well, he's allowed play to go on.
Yeah, he said that Richard Swain actually touched it.
Here's David Ferner. McClendon going backwards, then to go forward. And away, Bell, the centre, has not only missed the tackle, he's gone to ground as Canberra take it into Melbourne's area. From Prittis away, Duvico to Brand. And Brand will unload. He does for Duvico. Kamali's got him, but he's got it back to Prittis. Prittis makes a scurrying run down to the 30-metre line. Playing it back to Wolford. Now for Stewart, linking up, and then a pass flat across to Brand. 20-metre line. Wolford looking for McClendon, finding him down the blind. back on the inside. Croker, then Mullins. Mullins unloading. The bounce of the ball for Priddis. And Priddis taken by Melbourne. 16-12 Melbourne in front of Canberra. Stewart gathering the troops around him for the kick. And it's taken down there by Bowden.
Why did Brett Mullins do that?
Mullins has tackled him and put him back on the in goal.
I called it. Well, obviously Brett Mullins didn't think that the tackle had been called and completed. That's Bowden taking the football. He goes down. He gets up to play it. Going back over the line.
Well, really, what Brett could have easily done is just stand over him and he would have got a penalty, really.
Voluntary tackle, I think.
Marcus Byer's got a problem. We'll go to Steve on that in a moment because this has gone into touch just inside the 30. Yes, Steve?
He's got a problem with the hamstring. It's the same injury as he had a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure they'll just warm it up and he'll be back.
Bowden. I've got no doubts if Brett Mullins had have stood just where he was and not touched Bowden, Harrigan could have given a penalty. Williams. 4 points the margin, Melbourne leading. Same margin as they led by at half-time. Nickau, Swain, Kamali, inside ball for Evans. 5 tackles, 25 away from the line. Kamali around Croker. The kick, sitting up in the wind. A test. Oh, it's a try, is it? No! He's come down short. Oh, spectacular stuff. We go to a break at Melbourne, back in a moment. The line is McClendon! 25 metres out from his own line. 16-12. This was a spectacular take by Paul Bell, and I thought it would end with him landing in goal, but Canberra were able to repel Melbourne and Paul Bell. Here's Brand, Croker, limping his way down the ground before Priddis. Wolfen, Stewart, Werner, the pass looked a little bit dubious. Werner's pass back, and it's McNamara, I think. 10 metres away from the Melbourne line. Stewart, long pass for Croker. Croker hesitating, intercepted by Kamali. Now Vainikolo's after him. Kamali's not going to make it. Vainikolo's rounded him up, not held. Touched by Canberra, down for Vainikolo, back at his own 20.
Oh, you talk about impatience. Some great work undone there from Kamali. What a game he's had. Fantastic stuff. Down the other end, a try-saving tackle by Matt Geyer, and David Furner burst through. Brilliant stuff, and then the intercept. And Kamali was away, but half-back, the winger chasing. Good chase by Vainikolo. And threw a pass that didn't have to be thrown.
And then a lucky knock down by Canberra. Here they come again. The chip has been regathered by McClendon. And a beautiful tackle by Geyer. Will put him down for 2 tries saved in 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll put him down for the best player out there tonight. Has not made a blue. And in the last couple of minutes, may have saved the game for his team on 2 occasions against 2 very, very elusive players. David Furner is a good stepping back rower, and McClendon, we've seen what he can do when he's in open spaces, not just in this game, but throughout the whole season. Oh!
Here's Canberra with Stewart, the will of the wisp, and then Furner, a floated pass to McNamara, and he's tackled 10 metres out from the line. Way back for Priddis. Priddis away from dummy half and is 3 metres out from the line. Now his little partner in crime, Wolford. Wolford gives it away, and that is DeVico, so close to the line. Priddis watch. Sweeping pass. Stewart decides to have one go himself. They lost a little ground, but that's to be expected. McClendon. 5 tackles. Hoping to be held up in goal, really. Now Stewart. Torpedo pass away. Oh! Kruger! Turned it in and hit Mullins on the chin. And referee Harrigan plays the advantage to Melbourne.
And if the ball had have stuck, Brett Mullins might have been through.
No, Guy would have got him. He'd have got him somehow.
Well, I can't argue with it.
What a game.
Just have a look at the gap on the inside. Brett Mullins, he'd have been very, very difficult to pick up despite the fact that they had one player coming across in cover.
6.5 minutes of the game remaining in front of 18,000 people. The sellout is 19. 18, 3, 2, 1. Magnificent from the Melbourne public. Burns. One mustn't forget that there's a lot of Canberra supporters have made the journey down as well. But we are talking about Melbourne in wintertime. And almost 19,000. Mullins! McClendon. Stewart pushing right. Vainacola. A ring of defence waits for the big fella. 38 away from his own line. Time running out now. Payton. I suppose it always has been, but now it becomes a great enemy. Back for Pearson. Pearson will be asked to play it now. 45 away from Melbourne's line. Stewart cross for DeVico. The run around for Stewart. A cutout pass for McNamara. He comes back in and is tackled 10 metres in from touch and 45 away from the line. Stewart with that long pass, his trademark pass. Wiki for Furner. Furner on the halfway. Payton gets it on to McClendon. Then to McNamara. Then he gives a pass that goes to ground and Melbourne with Hill have got the ball. Great stuff this. And laying a platform for a semi-final here next weekend. Further, 42 metres from the Melbourne line. Stewart. Clyde. There's the penalty that Clyde was appealing for. Rorty hung on just too long.
Well, we look like getting the kind of finish that this game deserves. We've got under 5 to go. They trail by 4. And they're going to have a full set of 6 tackles from, well, that's not his best kick, Ricky. Could have got closer than that, but he's still going to be inside 30 for 6 to come.
Massive penalty count against them, Canberra. Etherington takes it ahead. 25 away from the Melbourne line. Down the blind side for 1. Furner. Second tackle gone for Canberra. This is the last throw of the dice. Payton. Back on the inside. McNamara. Pearson will play it on 3. Stewart. Inside ball. DeVico for Clyde. That's 4 gone for Canberra. 3 metres from the line. A dummy, and then it's DeVico. He throws the pass and Melbourne have got it. A look of exasperation across the Canberra backline.
Both coaches would be disappointed with some of the ball handling out there, or some of the...
Oh, they've lost it, Melbourne. Hendrington's got it for Canberra. He's lost the ball. And Harrigan is going to put a scrum down.
I was just saying, some of the handling has just been incredibly bad. Neither side looks as though they want to win it, and it's so important to both teams. But this is what desperation football is all about. Strong defence there from Bai and Swain. It's been a fantastic game of rugby league, this one.
31 handling errors in all, as Melbourne have been given the chance to shut this one down. Marquette, Canberra bodies all over the place making the tackle. Little Marcus, I shouldn't say little, 90-kilogram Marcus Bai with a 5-metre run and a settler. Kern. 2 minutes for Canberra to get the ball back and threaten Melbourne again. The last is here. Kumoli. The kick, low. And finding the line. So a scrum will pack, eating up time. And it would seem fairly certain that Melbourne are into a hometown semi-final.
That was a tremendous set of 6 under pressure. Coming out, a great kick at the end of it, bringing the ball over the sideline. Torpedo through 2 defenders. One thing that has been very impressive, the more the season's gone on, has been the kicking game for Morley. Got one last chance, got a long way to go.
Oh, the ball bouncing favourably for Bainacolo. Just on 1 minute of time. Ruben Wiki. Straining to free himself from the Melbourne defence. McClendon, Clyde, and Clyde to ground. Out on the 30-metre line. The crowd getting ready to applaud this magnificent side. Bainacolo can't handle, into touch. And that surely must be the ball game.
And that's been the story of the night for the Canberra side. It was a pass that just did not have to be thrown. A half bust made by Pearson. He was through the tackle and then just through the speculator.
4 points seems to be a popular margin. I think that's what Canterbury beat Melbourne by last week. Canberra beat St George by that. It looks like tonight you're able to go down by that one solitary type.
Just a little delay as an intruder came onto the ground, removed by police. Kumoli for Carlaw. John Carlaw takes the tackle. There's the hooter in the background. Melbourne have got themselves a semi-final. 18,300 here tonight to witness a fantastic game of rugby league. Certainly it had its errors, but it had its heroes as well. And on a fantastic sporting night in Melbourne, rugby league has stood firm and tall. With 19,000 to sell out, they've gone within 700 of capacity. A 4-point win to Melbourne, 3 tries to 2. Tremendous game, and signalling that the next 5 weeks of rugby league are going to be brilliant, if this was any idea of what is to come. 2 of the aspiring teams to the grand final crowd have laid it on tonight. Many of us thought they were pretenders, but they are not. Great scenes here. As we go to a break from Olympic Park, the Melburnians are celebrating again for the 9th time, if memory serves me correctly, in 1998 here at Olympic Park. We'll take a break, come back. Peter and Paul will wrap it. Blocker will have the McDonald's $1,000 man of the match. All of that afterwards.
Mark's seen Melbourne win their 17th game of the season, defeating Canberra 16 points to 12. The try scorers Martin, Hill and Kumali got them for the home side. The young halfback kicked 2 from 3. While for the Raiders, Pearson and Hetherington scored 4-pointers. David Furner successful with both his kicks at goal. Once again, Melbourne well served right across the park, but the man we chose as their best, he was a match saver on a couple of occasions tonight and is with Steve Roach.
Well, the $1,000 McDonald's man of the match goes to Matt Geyer, the Melbourne Storm fullback. That's a semi-final in itself. What a great game of football.
Yeah, sure was, Blocker. We thought we lost it in the end there, I think, with a few mistakes. We finished the first half really well. We thought they might have fatigued in the second half, but they just kept coming at us, and we had a few mistakes late in that second half. And
yeah, a little bit nervous in that first half. You guys are trying to push the pass. You had plenty of opportunity. You settled down in the second half and played some good footy.
Yeah, it was definitely tough out there, and I think we tried to play Canberra's football, which is just not us, you know. We just are frustrated teams, and we try and get mistakes out of them. We're all making plenty of mistakes ourselves, you know, so it was uncharacteristic of us, but we dug in at the end and we got away with it.
What about your performance? A toss of a coin, you and a couple of other players for the fullback position. That should have cemented the semi-final spot for yourself out on home ground.
Well, we've still got Robbie Ross to come back. He's a fairly good replacement, so maybe he might take the spot. I might find a spot on the bench, but yeah, me and Tristan Brady Smith, hey Tristo, he's up in Brisbane at the moment. Yeah, we were sort of dueling for the spot, and Chris gave me the nod, and I suppose I've got to thank him for having the confidence in me.
And what about the home ground advantage? You've won that, the right to play a semi-final in Melbourne.
Well, mate, you can listen to it now around here. You know, it's definitely a home ground advantage. I think we've only lost 2 here all year. We built at Newcastle here and North Sydney, some of the best packs in the comp, you know, and I think we earned the right as being one of the best packs in the comp now.
Mate, you're the perfect example of hang in there and you'll come good. Congratulations on behalf of Channel 9 McDonald's.
Thanks a lot, Blogger. Thanks.
Now, the 22-year-old younger brother of Mark Guy is starting to make his mark in the National Rugby League, but I thought Kearns, Kamali and Tony Martin were also exceptional. Paul, Ray talks about their enthusiasm. I'm amazed at their toughness. The skill level is obvious. The Melbourne Storm have got everything covered.
They're going to be very hard to beat in this competition. Brisbane are 6-4 on favourites. At the Melbourne Storm, they really challenge their opposing teams. They're tough, they're resilient. They keep coming at the opposition and really putting the test to them. So they're a very good football side. Chris Anderson's done a magnificent job this year. And for mine, Peter, Chris Anderson should be named the Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I think there's little doubt about that, especially as we have a look at the competition ladder. With one game gone in round 24, the win tonight has given the Storm an opportunity to finish second. That, of course, depends on the Knights and the Eels this weekend. The one thing that has been established this evening, the Canberra Raiders will finish 7th. They'll play next Friday night and they will finish on 30 competition points. Also in earnest, the battle for 9th and 10th. That's between the Bulldogs, the Eagles, the Sharks and the Steelers. And obviously from the graphic we see that Manly and Canterbury, if they're successful this weekend, no chance for the Sharks and the Steelers to qualify. As we pointed out...